Well, the old chap came from South Brisbane without much hope, with that sort of family background, and look where he ended up.
Bill Hayden was one of the generation of politicians who reflected a much broader sweep of Australian life than is often the case today. Growing up in poverty in Depression-era Brisbane, he worked as a Queensland copper before surprising many in 1961 by wresting the seat of Oxley from the then Liberal Health Minister. At just 28 years of age, he was joining Labor's parliamentary ranks through its long, dark 23 years in opposition.
The national leader of the Australian Labor Party, Mr. Gough Whitlam.
As Gough Whitlam's Minister for Social Security, Hayden was at the centre of the profound changes in government policy that Labor brought to the country after the 1972 election, notably a supporting mother's pension. He told the House of Representatives that he wanted to see an end to discrimination against unmarried mothers and deserted wives.
The Labor government would set up a single health insurance fund in Australia.
He went on to introduce Australia's first universal health insurance scheme, Medibank, the forerunner of Medicare.
Details of the person's family here, as well as the main person of the family.
Which put him at war with the then very powerful Australian Medical Association.
The situation could become disastrous.
We believe in it. It's a good scheme.
In the last year of the Whitlam government, Hayden succeeded Jim Cairns as Treasurer and brought discipline and credibility back to the budget process after the chaos of the Cairns tenure and the fallout of the loans affair.
Responsible economic measures.
And few would doubt his economic brilliance.
Bill played an enormously significant role as probably the most effective and balanced, some would say the sanest, minister in the Whitlam government. A huge contribution as Health Minister, creating Medibank, and a huge contribution as Treasurer, getting the wheels back on a cart that had rather got away from the government.
In 1977, Hayden inherited the poisoned chalice of the Labor leadership.
He isn't someone who exactly stands out in a crowd.
Hello, I'm Bill Hayden, leader of the Labor Party in Canberra.
He was often an uncomfortable public performer.
Well, it's the best I can do. It's all that God's given me.
But he was to play a crucial role in bringing the party back into contention, overhauling Labor's policy platform and constructing what would come to be regarded as one of the most dynamic cabinets of the post-war era.
He was serious about getting us focused on what we needed to do in terms of cabinet caucus relationships, internal management of the party and the whole system, making the ALP electable again.
Labor came very close to winning the 1980 election, but faced a late scare campaign from Malcolm Fraser.
Claims of a Labor wealth tax saw the coalition win its third election in a row.
The election also saw the arrival of the charismatic Bob Hawke, a development which destabilised Hayden's leadership and put him on notice, despite Hawke's protestations.
But you could kill it stone dead here and now by saying, no, come on, now grab hold of yourself. I've made it quite clear. I've said it 3 times. Now, you are just being a bloody pest.
As the days ticked down to a 1983 election, Hayden was persuaded by his good friend, Victorian Senator John Button, to stand aside in favour of Hawke to guarantee a Labor win.
Bill Hayden has done a remarkably courageous thing.
I am not convinced that the Labor Party would not win under my leadership. I believe that a drover's dog could lead the Labor Party to victory.
I think it was largely as a function of the groundwork that Bill laid, that the Hawke-Keating government was as good as it's claimed, I think, realistically to be.
After the 1983 election victory, Hawke gave Hayden his choice portfolios, Foreign Affairs.
Vietnam, isolated as it is by the West because of its continuing occupation of Kampuchea, was delighted to have Mr. Hayden in Hanoi.
There's a long way to go and we could still fail, but we'll keep trying.
A very creative and effective foreign minister. 3 great achievements in particular, as he made Australia a really knowledgeable, seen to be a really knowledgeable and committed player in Southeast Asia. Secondly was to really position Australia as a major international global voice on peace and disarmament issues, nuclear and chemical weapons arms control in particular. He, in the relationship with the United States, while still supporting the alliance, really insisted on the sovereign, independent agency of Australia. Very reluctant to drink too much of the American Kool-Aid.
A lifelong Republican, he was appointed Australia's 21st Governor-General, taking up the post in 1989.